With a flick of his tail, Frieza snatched the hidden Potara earrings from Vegeta's grasp and crushed one beneath his heel, ensuring no fusion would save his enemies today.
Vegeta's voice cut through the darkness as he pleaded with Alto, Frieza's conflicted son, to see the truth and abandon the path of betrayal that would destroy them all.
Alto, lavender skin gleaming under the violet storm, turned cold crimson eyes away, declaring his lifelong loyalty to the father who had forged him for this very day. The Grand Priest answered with a single palm strike that hurled Frieza through floating citadels, turning them to glittering dust in his wake. The twin Xenos raised their tiny palms, cheerful voices ringing out as pure white erasure energy formed between them. The legendary Z-Sword spun through the air as Frieza examined it with theatrical disdain, then tossed it back like a meaningless toy to the prince he once called servant. Twin beams of pure violet-black Hakai erupted from Frieza's palms, striking Vegeta and Rooie, slowly devouring their bodies in glittering particles of unmaking. Tears streaked Alto's face as he touched the dragon and whispered a promise to return for his brother, before crimson light swallowed him and his monstrous father. Frieza materialized in the sacred pastel void of the Omni-Kings palace, bowing with mocking grace before the Grand Priest and the two childlike rulers floating above. The Grand Priest stood unmoved as Frieza offered a deadly wager. Defeat him in combat and earn audience with the Omni-Kings themselves.
Vegeta, reborn by Zalama's light, stood defiant before the tyrant, silver white hair blazing, turquoise eyes burning with divine fury, while Frieza's cruel laughter shook the broken stars around them. In the shattered void of a dying pocket dimension, Emperor Frieza, now the Dark Emperor, towered in his ultimate demonic form, violet-black destruction crackling around his obsidian horns as he proclaimed his return and promised oblivion to those who dared oppose him. The twin Xenos clapped with childlike glee, delighted at the prospect of watching their guardian fight for the first time in eons. He lifted Broly's trembling young daughter by the collar, promising the same fate he once delivered to her father. Frieza struck first, a punch that carried the weight of fallen empires, clashing against the Grand Priest in a storm that shattered distant crystal palaces. Laughing through the pain, Frieza unleashed a meteor shower of violet-black energy spheres that screamed down like judgment from a dead sky. The Grand Priest launched one final desperate assault, only to be backhanded across the void and left broken among the ruins of divinity. Champa prepared to destroy young Koza in vengeance, only for Vegeta to appear and shield the boy with his own body. The Grand Priest spun his staff once, reversing every sphere and sending them roaring back toward their master with doubled fury. Rooie knelt in quiet prayer on Namek, the prismatic light within him finally at peace. The Grand Priest shed his calm facade, robes exploding into wings of pure light as halos spun into weapons and the realm trembled with divine power. Frieza danced through his own reflected apocalypse and appeared behind the angel, driving a knee into the Guardian's spine with reality-breaking force. Angelic judgment descended, a pillar of pure divine light that burned away layers of Frieza's stolen power, yet failed to end his defiance. Together they rose into the golden sky, master and student streaking toward a new future among the stars. Frieza endured the cleansing fire, laughing madly, then dropped to one knee and begged the Omni-Kings to erase him with their own hands. Across the multiverse, planets healed, stars burned brighter, and the scars of tyranny slowly faded into legend. Kaza stood behind him, no longer trembling, tail swaying confidently as the wind carried away the last shadows of the past. Vegeta declared that Kuza was not his father and took the child as his apprentice, offering redemption where none had been given before. Together they soared into the golden horizon, leaving the battlefield behind and flying toward whatever tomorrow awaited. In that instant, black-violet tendrils exploded from Frieza's body and seized the Omni-Kings like living chains, binding the ultimate powers to his will. The Grand Priest staggered in horror as the erasure orbs now orbited Frieza like twin captive suns, proof that no being was beyond his command. On a quiet cliff at sunset, Vegeta stood with Kuza at his side, watching the last traces of darkness fade from the universe. Rooie, the proud Namekian warrior, fell to one knee, yet summoned the Crimson Dragon Roku with his final breath, demanding the beast carry Frieza to the realm of the Omni-Kings, no matter the cost. The boy clutched Vegeta's blue undershirt, eyes filled with hesitant hope as the prince placed a hand on his head and spoke of the work ahead. Frieza forced the terrified Xenos to annihilate the 7 Super Dragon Balls, shattering the orbs that once granted infinite wishes into cosmic dust. The Grand Priest bowed his head in the silent palace, accepting the weight of a universe forever changed. Zalama's final gift grew stronger, a child destined to restore balance when the multiverse needed it most. With sadistic delight, he commanded the 2 best friends to erase each other, their final tearful goodbyes echoing as they vanished forever. Rooie stood beneath Namek's twin moons, smiling softly as the faint silhouette of a crimson dragon vanished into the night. Years passed, and on a training ground at dawn, Vegeta watched teenage Kuza ignite a brilliant white and violet aura for the first time. In a place between places, the infant of Angel and Destroyer opened its eyes, light and shadow in perfect balance. The prince turned and spoke words that would shape a new era, promising the boy a path of strength and honor. Frieza turned to Alto with false tenderness, then raised a glowing hand and banished his own son to hell with cold, merciless Hakai. Back in the dying pocket dimension, the Z-Sword shattered completely, opening a prismatic gateway that pulled Vegeta and Rooie into a realm of pure light. Zalama, the true first god, towered before them in shifting prismatic glory and poured his true essence into the warriors who had earned trust. Reborn and radiant, Vegeta and Rooie emerged from the collapsing dimension, bodies whole, power beyond anything they had ever known. Frieza descended upon Galactic Patrol headquarters like a black sun, forcing gods of destruction to kneel and turning their divine power into chains. Reality tore open in a blaze of white, violet, and emerald as the ultimate fused warrior born of Vegeta, Goku, and Broly's essence stepped forth. Emperor's command lashed out in black tendrils, only to shatter harmlessly against a will forged by trust and creation itself. The fused warrior seized Frieza by the throat and drove the staff of light and shadow through his chest, tearing the dark shadow of Zalama free. On distant worlds, children trained, laughed, and dreamed beneath peaceful skies they would never know had almost been lost. Frieza's stolen Imperial form collapsed, burning away to reveal the classic tyrant, small and powerless for the first time in his existence. The fusion separated in a burst of prismatic light, leaving Vegeta alone to deliver one final righteous punch that ended Frieza forever. Silence fell across the multiverse as dust settled and the sky began to clear. The age of the Dark Emperor finally over. Far beyond reality, the last pure fragment of Zalama cradled a newborn spark of life that carried both angel wings and destroyer halo. The boy who once carried Frieza's blood now floated with power born of trust, gratitude shining in his eyes as he looked to his master. Vegeta crossed his arms on a windswept cliff, silver-white hair catching the sunset as he allowed himself the rarest of smiles. Vegeta watched Kazar rise higher, aura blazing like a new star, pride burning in eyes that had once known only vengeance. And somewhere far beyond mortal sight, the newborn guardian opened tiny wings of light and shadow, smiling as the multiverse turned gently toward a new dawn. In the broken sacred realm, the Grand Priest slowly reformed, gazing sadly at the empty thrones that would never again hold their childlike kings.